Hello, my name is Joshua Allen, and as part of our AS Media course, we were all required to plan and direct a new and innovative opening sequence using the technology out there today. The first task we were given was the shooting of a preliminary task. This was to be a very basic and simplistic piece of footage which would last no more than 30 seconds. The task had to consist of match and action, shot reverse shot, and to comply with the 180-degree rule. The 180-degree rule is a line the director must stick to in order to create a successful piece of dialogue. We all then presented our final pitch to the class using PowerPoint. PowerPoint is a very useful piece of software as it allows me to insert text and pictures, creating a useful presentation. It is also useful as it allows my peers to give advice whilst I go through the slides. I then researched different types of opening sequence using YouTube. YouTube is easily accessible and allows me to go back to certain clips that I feel influence my storyline. I researched films Snatch and 28 Days Later. After researching them, I looked on the website Box Office Mojo for information such as the distributor and how much the production cost. I then began filming. The camera I used was a JVC Eviero. I used this camera as it was HD, meaning that my film would be of a very good quality. Another reason I chose this specific camera was because it was fitted with K2 technology, giving me a higher quality sound. This means that any dialogue used could be picked up loud and clear. Now, although I did not use any dialogue, I did however have different live sounds such as walking. A main example where the microphone came in handy was when Callum, my actor, bangs his fist on the gate and screams. Because of my high quality sound, I could pick up this noise with no trouble. Another perk that the camera had was that it was easily to upload to YouTube. This was useful as if I wanted feedback from people outside the school grounds, I could upload it quick to YouTube. After I'd finished filming it all, I had to edit it. I did this using Final Cut. Final Cut was a pretty much straightforward piece of software to use. I did not use any fancy transition as I felt it did not go overly too well with my genre. So instead I used normal quick cuts. I did that by simply placing one clip next to another. Though I did not use any difficult transition, I did however learn how to use an effect that made an image of a gate seem in his mind. I did this filming a shot of a gate and then placing the door over the clip in my film, and after I'd done this, I turned the opacity in the effects window down to 50%, making it look like the door was in his mind. This was a good shot to use as it adds enigma codes to the plot. I used this shot several times. I thought that it was quite effective. I also used some software called LiveType in order to create the production titles and the title of my film. LiveType was quite difficult to begin with as I was not familiar with it. It took me a while to get used to it, but in the end I managed to come up with 3 decent titles. My first title was Apple Time Productions, which had its own unique logo and its own animation. This title was the most difficult to create as I had to import 5 different files into Final Cut, making it fairly awkward to handle. The second title I used was a more basic title, named Legacy Productions. This was a lot simpler as it did not have its own logo, however it did have its own unique font that I personally created. This was a lot simpler as the file I had to import was the actual font. My final title used was the name of the film, The Infected. The font again was made personally in Photoshop. I used this as I'm very familiar with it. I imported my finished Photoshop file into LiveType and added an effect called Jittery. I used this particular effect as I felt it was suitable for my horror genre. I finally added the music I got from YouTube. The song that I originally wanted to use was copyrighted, so in order to use that song choice, I had to find a cover version of the song that was not copyrighted. Luckily, I already knew of a very good copy on YouTube. The sound quality was decent and clear. I also used a horror song during the zombie scene. I got the idea of using the song from a film called Insidious. I saw the clip of the film from YouTube and it left a big impact on me and decided that it would go perfect with my scene. Although I used this song, it was not my first choice. My first choice was to compose my own song on a software called Logic Pro. And this is software designed for composing and producing your own music. I decided against this idea as the sound quality was not as professional as it should be. This whole process is a great example of technological convergence as it is bringing together lots of different software, allowing me to create a decent piece of media. For example, when I was editing in Final Cut, I was bringing in music from YouTube, and then after that I brought photos from Photoshop in LiveType. This whole convergence is very easy to find on the internet, meaning that it is easy for anybody to make their own short film. For example, the famous film on YouTube 405 was edited in his bedroom and soon became a massive hit. However, it doesn't matter if you have all the software, if you have no skill or knowledge in media, your film will in hindsight be rubbish. In conclusion, I learned a lot about technology used in the process of filmmaking. I've learned a lot about editing software and how to use certain hardware. I've also learned that technology out there today is great help when making a short film of your own. So as long as you have the skill and knowledge, you don't have to be a world-class director to make a brilliant piece of media.